Electra.
Hey guys, what's up? Pac-Man Schultz here with another Magic the Gathering deck tech. We're gonna go ahead and start it out with my brother's Hydra deck today, and it is phenomenal. So let's start it up with the basic lands and the land. First off, we have the two Nykthos Shine to Nyx. They add one colorless mana to your pool if you tap them. If you tap 2 mana and tap it, you can choose a color and add that amount of your mana pool equal to the devotion. So this is a green Hydra deck. You'll tap 2 green and tap it, and then however much your devotion is, you can tap one of these for like 6 mana if you have that much devotion. It's a great card. And then for our basic land, of course, we have 20 green forest. That's basically all you need, and it's perfect. So 20 green forest in that deck. For our creatures, we're going to get into it. We have the Elvish Mystic to help out with land basing also, because we only have 20 lands in the deck. We're going to need these to help out with green mana as well. So 1 green, you can play it. It's a 1/1, and you tap it, and it adds a green mana to your pool. We have the whole play set of that. So that's a good card to have. Then we have a whole play set of another card to help us with our land. We have the Sylvan Caratid. The Sylvan Caratid is a green and a colorless. It has Defender and Hexproof. Therefore, it can't be affected by spells like targeted by them. And it adds 1 mana of any color to your pool if you tap it. So it's another thing to help you with your land base. It works very well. Another card we have for the Hydra start off, we have a 3-drop of Scourge of Skola, Vale. 1 green, 2 colorless. It has Trample, and it enters the battlefield with 2 +1/+1s. If you tap it, you can sacrifice another creature to put a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to the sacrificed creature's toughness. So it's 2/2 when it enters. And then if you tap it, you can sacrifice a creature that's like a 6/6 and puts +6/+6 on it. For our 4 drops, we're gonna get into the Polukranos World Eater. This thing's beautiful. 2 green, 2 colorless. It has Monstrosity X for XX and 1 green. Basically means when it becomes monstrous, it deals X damage divided, meaning you choose 1 to be damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures your opponent's control. So that X means you choose 2. It deals 2 damage divided to each any number of target creatures. So you can choose 2 damage to deal to 1. However, if you choose that amount of creature, it also hits you. It's a really hard card to do, but each of those creatures deals damage equal to its power to Polukranos. So you want to make it big on damage dealt and big on +1/+1 counters. So it's basically that. It's not that hard to use. It sounds confusing, but you guys get the idea. Then we have the Nylea, God of the Hunt. 1 green, 3 colorless, indestructible. As long as your devotion to green is less than 5, it's not a creature. And other creatures you control have trample, and if you tap another green and 3 colorless, it gets a target creature gets a +2/+2 until end of turn. We have 2 of these, and it's a 6/6. Beautiful card. Polukranos starts out as a 5/5, by the way. And Kalonian Hydra. Another great card to have. 2 green, 3 colorless. It is trample when it enters the battlefield with 4 +1/+1 counters, and when it attacks, double the number of +1/+1 counters on each creature you control. So it's a 4/4. It attacks if you have a bunch of +1/+1 counters, because that's what this deck's based on. It doubles them. Phenomenal. We have 2 of the Heroes Bane. 2 green, 2 colorless. When it enters the battlefield, it gets 4 +1/+1s. If you tap 2 green and 2 colorless, it doubles the +1/+1 counters, and it's actually 2 green and 3 colorless. My bad. Doubles the +1/+1 counters, and we also have the beautiful limited art edition one, which my friend actually gave me. So this card's amazing. I like the limited art. But yeah, there we go. 2 of those. And then we have the Nessian Wild's Ravager. 2 green, 4 colorless. It's a tribute 6, so as it enters the battlefield, they either give it a +6/+6 and make it a 12/12. If not, it fights another target creature. So it's a 6/6 fighting another creature, killing it off. Or it's a 12/12. Yeah. 2 of those. And then we have the Hydra Omnivore. 2 green, 4 colorless. When it deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to each other opponent. So it's an 8/8. And deals damage to another opponent, it basically just deals 8 damage to everybody else's too. So if you're in a 4-player game, you swing for 8, basically. and you hit the guy, it deals 8 to everybody else. Anyway, Mistcutter Hydra. I added this toward the end because it's 1 green and X amount of mana. So X amount of mana is always like, you know, however much. And I go by mana cost. So this is basically what I do. 1 green, 4 color, 1 green X colorless. 4 of these in the deck. Enters the battle, can't be countered. Has haste and protection from blue mana. And it enters the battlefield with X +1/+1. So however much X you tap is how much big this thing's going to be. It's a good card. And then we have Genesis Hydra, great card too. 2 green and X colorless. When you cast it, reveal the top X cards of your library. You may put a non-land permanent with a converted mana cost X or less from among them onto the battlefield, then shuffle. It enters the battlefield with that many counters too. So, however much you tap on the X, it's how big it is, and how many cards you look at the top and non-land permanent you put out. Great card. Also, our two last cards here. Thinking of Mistcutter. Vastwood Hydra. 2 green, X mana. It enters the battlefield, of course, with X +1/+1s, and when it dies, you may distribute the number of +1/+1 counters equal to the number of +1/+1 counters on this among any number of creatures you control. So basically, when this dies, you can choose one of your creatures to gain all of the +1/+1s on this onto that creature. Yeah. For our instance, we have 4 of the Rangers Guile. 1 green, it gets target creature gets a +1/+1 and gains hexproof until end of turn. So basically, makes them a little bit bigger. If you have the ability to double +1/+1 counters, it can double it to 2/2, and it makes it to where they can't be targeted by spells. Great card for the end of the turn. Then we have our 2 Setessan Tactics. 1 green, 1 colorless. Can cost 1 green more to cast for each target beyond the first, so it has Strive. You can make it multiple creatures until end of turn, get a +1/+1, and gain the ability to tap to fight creatures. Basically a great thing. And then we have 2 Solidarity of Heroes. 1 green, 1 colorless. It has Strive as well. Costs 1 green and 1 colorless more to cast for each target beyond the first. Choose any number of creatures. Double the +1/+1 counters on them. Being a +1/+1 counter deck, this makes your creatures huge as fuck. And we have 2 of them in there. So, great. And then we have our last 2 instants that we added in ourselves is Naturalize. 1 green, 1 colorless. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Great card to have. Not our last instance, my bad. Predators Rapport. 3 of them. 1 green, 2 colorless. It choose a target creature you control. You gain life equal to that creature's power plus its toughness. So this is just a life gain card for us. Makes our creatures huge. Gets them a +1/+1. The last card in the deck is a legendary enchantment artifact. A Bow of Nylea. 2 green, 1 colorless. Attacking creatures you control have Death Touch. 1 green, 1 colorless, and tap it. You choose either to put a +1/+1 on a creature, deal 2 damage to a creature with flying, gain 3 life, or put 4 target cards from your graveyard in the bottom of your deck in any order. So, great card to have. That's the Hydra deck, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed watching the video. If you did, do good. Give me a favor, like my video, and subscribe if you want. If not, that's cool too. I don't judge. So, thanks for watching anyway, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks. Electro.